Welcome to Islamic Life Coach School Podcast. Apply tools that you learn in this podcast and your life will be unrecognizably successful. Now your host, Dr. Kamal Akhtar.
Hello everyone. Peace and blessings be upon all of you. Regardless of your employment history, you've accumulated a lot of skills through your lifetime that could be marketed as employment skills if you needed. These are transferable skills. You've accumulated invisible intelligence throughout your life, but you've not been taught to see it like this, because in this hyperlogical world, something that cannot be measured has a tendency to be forgotten. So it becomes your responsibility to describe these skills as your strength in a way that other people recognize it. This is portable power, a collection of skills that you've picked up and it compounds all throughout your life, just like money does in the stock market. But there is a huge unrecognition of it. The way I'm going to talk about it today is as it relates to your employment skills, your hireability to a company. But the same skills are needed in entrepreneurship, relationships, and everywhere else in your life. So listen on and apply it to your life as it relates to it. So even though these are framed as employment skills, you already know that these go far beyond work. Because you use the same capacities in your marriage, in motherhood, in your faith. These are job skills, and these are identity level competencies. And once you start seeing them that way, you will finally allow the world to see your value. And when that happens, you attract money. Because money is exchanged for value in this world. Women only apply for jobs when they meet 100% of the qualifications. Men apply to the same jobs when they meet 60% of the required qualifications. This is a Hewlett-Packard study. Someone would say, but that's a good thing. How can you do a job that you're not qualified for? The point isn't that men get the job or not, although just applying for the job at higher numbers makes it more likely that they get hired as well. What I want to point out is that there might be a lot of qualifications that you're sitting on that you don't see as being qualifications at all. So let's examine what these are and how they make you valuable to an employer. First is communication, and that has a lot to do with speaking clearly. And while that has a lot to do with speaking clearly, it's also about translating your internal world into something another human being can actually receive. Simplicity is a huge skill in communication. You've seen this in your own life, where you say something with good intention and it lands completely wrong. And suddenly you're managing the aftermath of what you said instead of the message. Real communication is precision, it's timing, it's knowing when to be soft and when to be direct. If you're good at communication, this definitely needs to go on your resume. There are a lot of people who struggle with miscommunication and are frequently misperceived. So if you have the skill of communication, you need to market it. Then there is emotional intelligence. And these are not in any specific order, just what I see that are often skills that get overlooked, especially as strengths in women, by themselves or by others. So, emotional intelligence is where most women have been overtrained but undercredited. If you have experience of years in reading microexpressions and adjusting your tone and anticipating needs, managing emotional climates, and somewhere along the way you started to assume that this was just a part of your personality and this is what was supposed to be done, it's just something that you do, instead of recognizing it as a highly refined skill, you are sitting on a gold mine of value. Emotional intelligence is your ability to stay anchored in yourself while reading the room accurately, and the moment you start using it to influence outcomes, you set yourself up for success everywhere. Then the next skill is time management, which might be misunderstood as trying to squeeze more and more things into your day to be more productive, when really it has more to do with being able to tell what is a priority now and what is not, what actually matters in this moment and what does not. When you say, I don't have time and I'm too busy, you do not have a time problem, you have a priority problem. And this problem compounds when you are sitting on a mountain of commitments that you agreed to because of your distorted sense of guilt and taking on responsibility that wasn't yours. Someone else's lack of time management does not make it your emergency. Time management is energy management, where you decide what deserves your energy and what does not. And that is one of the most marketable skills possible. Because when you work for somebody, you're often given a multitude of responsibility, and being able to manage them according to their priority will automatically put you in a highly desirable category. The next on this list is organization. Your external world looks organized when your internal thoughts are organized. If you're running on a chaotic mind, your external world will never look organized. And while I'm talking about organization, I'm talking about neatness, cleanliness, and the surface level systems and methods. But more than that, it is you being organized internally with your thoughts and emotions. What is being handled? What is pending? Who needs what job to do? This level of organization creates external simplicity, and it gives you clarity in your thoughts. It reduces your workload in a way that frees up your mind for higher level thinking, and it gets rid of constant mental clutter. A mind that is free of clutter will create space that is neat, and that will create systems that are operating on efficiency, and that in itself is a highly desirable quality. Then there's the skill of problem solving. Not only being able to identify a problem, but also not making that problem into drama. Addressing the problem in a solvable way. While the enormity of the problem might compel you to feel pressure around it, so you either avoid it or freeze in its face, when you're able to problem solve, you're able to find solution despite of feeling the pressure of the problem. You don't go into freeze mode. You're able to ask questions in a way that can be answered constructively. You cannot solve a problem if you're lacking tolerance for discomfort. The moment something feels hard, you either avoid it, outsource it, or create drama around it. When you develop problem solving as a skill, you become someone who can sit inside complexity long enough to move through the problem, and that alone makes you rare and highly valuable. The next on this scale is adaptability. And this is a form of flexibility that you embody when your identity is not on the line based on every mistake you make, or if someone accepts or rejects your decision. When things don't go as you expect, you adjust, without making it mean something about your worth. You do not cling to old version of yourself just because they're familiar. You recalibrate, you pivot, you evolve, you stay effective even when the environment is unpredictable. The next is the skill of leadership, which is your ability to stabilize yourself so other people can stabilize themselves around you. It is the tone you set and the consistency you embody, regardless of what environment other people bring to the table. Human beings are designed to follow nervous systems more than they're designed to follow your words and language. Because for majority of the time for human beings, communication happens with nonverbal cues. And when you learn to regulate yourself under pressure, you become someone that others trust without you needing to prove it. The next one on the list is collaboration. This is where you've made friends, not with other people, but with your ego, enough that it allows you the flexibility to share space with others. This is the ability to integrate differences without needing control, to allow other people's strengths to exist without feeling threatened yourself. This is the ability to move towards a shared outcome that is better than what you would have created alone, or what someone else would have created alone. This skill lives between a very delicate balance of humility and self-erasure. And collaboration, while there are differences of opinion where you're not undermining someone else and not undermining yourself, this is an absolute golden skill. Then there is the skill of conflict resolution, or any human being would be lucky to have you on their team with this skill. This is where most people reveal their emotional maturity. You either escalate, avoid, or transform. This skill is staying present when tension rises. You're not attacking another person. You're guiding the conversation towards solution, with or without other people's cooperation. And this skill requires practice of courage. If you have this skill, this needs to go on your resume. Then also, let's not forget the skill of critical thinking. This is what protects you from being easily influenced. This is your ability to question what you hear, to examine your own assumptions, to not just absorb information willy-nilly. Without this, you're at the mercy of whoever speaks with the most confidence, not the most truth. Next is the skill of decision-making. This is your relationship with uncertainty. There is almost never a perfect option when you're trying to decide something. If you're waiting for certainty, you will stay stuck. This skill is about choosing with intention and trusting your reasoning. When you move forward, you do it without constantly second-guessing yourself and allowing yourself the discomfort if your decision does happen to fall short of your expectations. Allowing yourself the grace and self-love through all of it. A woman who can decide is the woman who allows herself grace. This is a woman who moves, who can produce value, and exchange that value for money. The next skill is accountability. This is where your integrity becomes visible. You own your actions and your results. When something is off, you correct it without defensiveness. While others might be sitting in shame, guilt, or blame, accountability is about your ownership of your actions and your decisions. While other people might try to tell you that you need to feel perpetually guilty about a mistake, that's just simply untrue. Guilt needs to be present just long enough for you to learn your lesson from a mistake and correct your future actions. There's never any proper role of perpetual guilt and shame. This is what makes accountability easier, and highly accountable individuals are highly desirable employees. Because every human being, even a CEO, a manager, your employer, everyone knows that human beings make mistakes. Even they make mistakes. They are just looking to see if you correct your actions without making it into an energy suck and mind drama. And when you are going through this accountability, self-corrective process, you become a better version of yourself. You come out more precise, not more bitter. Then there is agility, your ability to evolve in real time. Not rigidly, not attached to this is how I am. You notice, you adapt. Then there is attention to detail, the difference between average and exceptional. It is the small things that most people overlook that separates you from them. This is how people experience the difference in your work, your presence, your relatability, and it builds a reputation without you needing to announce it. Then my favorite is self-management. This is the foundation underneath all of this. This is your ability to regulate yourself, your attention, your behavior, your emotions, all of this so your external life is not constantly being hijacked by your internal state. When you can hold your own energy steady regardless of whatever is happening inside of you, you become very difficult to destabilize by others, and that changes how other people interact with you. None of these skills belong to a single job. This is where the shift happens because these skills belong to you. Every environment you've been in has been training you in these skills, whether you realize it or not. Your home is training you, your marriage, your children, your hardest seasons in life have trained you. The problem is not that you have not developed these skills. The problem is that you've been calling them normal or minimizing them and making them invisible, presenting them in a language that hides your true value instead of revealing it. You might have a tendency to say things like, I help out, when you're coordinating complex systems. You might say, I'm just managing things, when you're stabilizing factors that keep things running. You might say it's nothing, when it's actually executive level functioning happening on a daily basis. This is where your high consciousness set point comes in. At a low set point, you will look at life and dismiss all of these skills. At a high set point, you will look at the same life skills and extract evidence of capacity, endurance, intelligence, stewardship, and you will refuse to keep speaking about it as if all of this was accidental. Because none of this is accidental. These skills do not make you just employable. They make you an incredible human being. They make you harder to control, harder to silence. They make you impossible to manipulate, harder to destabilize. Once you start recognizing these skills, you're going to stop asking if you're qualified for a job. you're going to start asking, how have I been under-recognizing all of this value all of my life? Every environment you're in right now is training you. Your power is in deciding what you're going to take from this training, and if you're going to take anything at all, or you're going to leave empty-handed. You do not need to stay in an environment forever. You especially do not need to justify staying in a toxic work environment. But before you dismiss your workspace, ask which of these skills have you become masterful at because of your work here. When you prime your brain to look for these skills, then technically you've never wasted a season in your life. No employment opportunity was too small because it taught you some valuable skill or another that you might have just overlooked. When you get good at extracting the skills, then you get good at leveraging them, because these are not soft skills. They are in fact highly sought after. How these transferable skills or capability works in the real world is that you're not starting over every time you change roles. You're carrying an invisible toolkit that keeps compounding over time, just like money does. These skills are the portable forms of intelligence. These skills are what you use to be successful in your business, in your relationships, creating an amazing life. These skills travel with you across industries, across timelines. These abilities make you promotable across different fields, across different career paths, something that you carry on your person at all times. All of this implies that no matter where you go, you bring leverage with you. Yes, you bring hard work and ethics and reliability, and these are excellent employment skills, but look beyond these and see how valuable you are. These are currency skills that position your ability as the real form of money in your career, because your titles will fluctuate. And with AI, entire industries will shift. But these are the skills what actually get exchanged for opportunity and income. The current generation does not stay longer than 2 to 3 years at the same employment, and has a very high chance of changing career paths altogether after a decade or so. And this is very different than pension mentality of working the same company for decades and then retiring. Neither is wrong, neither is right. They're both there as an option. What makes you valuable to the world are these transferable skills that you take with you no matter where you go. If you're in a position right now where you don't think that you're the right fit, or you think something else out there will better serve you, I invite you to consider which of these transferable skills can you learn or you have already learned at your current position. When you are in a rush to change jobs, you miss out on the value of acquiring one or more of these skills in your current situation. And I'm not saying don't switch jobs. I'm saying you can make the most of where you are so you are not resenting your day-to-day life, all the while looking for better opportunities if that is what you want to do. This is cross-context intelligence. These skills make you able to perform in different environments. They make you role-proof, and they strip away your dependence on titles entirely. You may carry titles, and you may carry them proudly, but these skills signal that your value holds across titles. This is you gaining the human capital, assets that increase your value over time, making every new opportunity more and more accessible. This matters in your life because naming these skills is power. The moment you upgrade the language you use towards your own ability, your internal identity will start to shift. You will stop presenting yourself like an apology, and you will start presenting yourself like an asset that you are. With that, I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, O Allah, allow me to see the value you have already placed within me, and protect me from the blindness of underestimating what you have allowed me to build through my life. Teach me the use of my abilities with sincerity and strength so that I can serve with excellence without losing myself in the process. Ya Allah, let every skill that I carry become a means of drawing closer to you, creating benefit for others, and living with dignity and purpose. Ameen Ya Rabbul Alameen. Please keep me in your du'as. I will talk to you guys next time. I am truly honored that you are here in my circle. And if you or someone you know is raising a child on the autism spectrum, I want to personally invite you to join my program, the Ummi Collective. This is a weekly coaching program for Muslim mothers where I help you build the skills to raise independent and successful neurodivergent children, while also supporting you as a woman in the process. If you're struggling right now, but deep down you know that your child has incredible potential, and you want to support that potential the best way possible, this program is exactly for you. Use the link in the show notes to apply for the program at a discounted price. I would be honored to welcome you inside the Ummi Collective.